Director Case.
We'll go back to her.
Here, sorry, here.
Director Foley.
Here.
Director Mendia Ramos.
Here.
Director Moore McClendon.
Present.
Director Najib.
Here.
And Director Pence.
Here.
Excellent, thank you. The first item of the agenda is comments from the public. We have two today, and I just want to read a quick reminder want to remind everybody that the public that negative comments identifying a specific personnel via name or position are not appropriate for the representation to the board in public sessions. In addition, I want to remind you guys that the board will not be responding to any matter in adherence to the state of Wisconsin open meetings law, which prevents a governmental body from discussing any specific item that was not publicly noticed on the agenda. We have Robin Hope or Hope? Hope. Please welcome. Make sure that you do speak up to the microphone. One of those two chairs. Oh, are we in compliance with open meetings law? My apologies. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and the opportunity to speak and just convey a message. I know you guys get a lot of negative feedback. I'd like to give some good feedback if I could, please. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. So I've had the privilege to serve on the Ascend Together, led by great leaders and really working towards finding out what the community wants as far as our mission and as we're growing and what we're doing. And being a part of that committee, you know, what we said we are going to do and what we do is really important. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. First, I'm going to step back. My name's Robin Hoke. I'm with the Workforce Solutions team. That's the part of the college that works with business and industry. And I've had the privilege to work here about 2.5 years. Prior to that, I've worked at Marquette University, Gateway Technical College, GE Additive, GE Medical, Baxter International. So working in both industry and also higher education. So I've worked with some great leaders, some great institutions, and have been a part of both of their missions as well and their vision. And as I look at what we've done, looking at priority 1, student success, I just want to say Dr. Cruz shows up. Okay, a true student first approach. You see that with Coffee with Cruz. This last time I was sitting with a student, his name's Dion. Nice kid. He was on one of the videos, the welcome videos. And he was invited by Dr. Cruz to stop by his office and chat sometime. Well, obviously it's hard to stop by his office and chat. So he's sitting there making a meeting and a plan to have a meeting with our president. It's a student, an accountant student, having a meeting with our president. So I find that really impressive. That student first approach, it really is a demonstration of his belief and of our belief and what we're going to be doing. Building community trust, everybody knows his LinkedIn profile and sees his social presence, and that is just what he's doing. And so I just want to say, for me, that is a big deal because that's who I serve. I serve business and industry and the community as a whole. And making those relationships and building this relationship with the community and businesses and a resource is incredible. And I feel that's very authentic. And I'm grateful to have a leader who nurtures those relationships and serves us, leaders who do that, because we have more than just Dr. Cruz. We have leaders. We have a good, strong cabinet right now. So, and then I want to talk, the reason I'm really here, I want to thank him for teaching me pickleball. Okay, no, honestly, it was just like that last piece of a caring culture. It's way more than pickleball. It is about being accessible, available, approachable, and someone that you can go to and you can talk to. And I've seen that both with students and I've seen it with employees. So aside from the fun and games, I actually feel my wellness and health matter here. It's a legitimate priority. The opportunity to connect with these businesses through his partnerships and relationships. And it's not just people we serve, it's people like Lutheran Social Services who have really good leaders, and some of the past leaders in the community that he is benchmarking from. So good eye, Dr. Cruz. As an employee, I feel encouraged and hopeful. I hope everyone, regardless of your position on specific issues, can recognize the integrity Dr. Cruz demonstrates, actually being student first, developing community trust deeply, and nurturing and empowering and creating a caring culture. And I am incredibly grateful for that. And I'm super encouraged. And I just want to say thank you. Now I can play pickleball. If anybody wants to play with me, I'd be delighted. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, we have Sam Alford. Thank you. Just make sure you speak up to the microphone.
Check 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Good.
Oh, Sam Alford. I'm a student alumni. I was the president of Black Student Union on student government. I was the district campaign fund chair, all that long history at MATC. My thoughts are either we are complicit with failure and treatment of certain communities a certain way, or we are co-conspirators with certain efforts to rid the college of certain demographics or not support them adequately, or we're unconscious. And I feel like y'all one of the three. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you said prior to our public comments that we couldn't address people personally by name and by position.
Correct.
The woman prior to me addressed Dr. Cruz several times, levying praise to him. I don't need to do that. The reason I want to address him personally, because you guys are complicit with him completely. I do a little bit of history lesson. In 2011, there was talks of the MPS board being taken over for this production in PBS and all that. PBS Productions and all that with student. Then 2015, an article came out about a corporate takeover of this very board governing this body, the largest college in the state, the most diverse college in the state. And it was talks of a corporate takeover led by the MATC, and certain people still on this board are here from that fresh regime. And now we have the inexplicable adoption of an executive order from what most would consider an evil administration under President Trump to rid itself of DEI falsely, and doesn't even have to be adopted by this college, to then cut the multicultural department. And y'all either complicit, co-conspirators, or unconscious. I would ask the board, how often do you come down to MATC outside of this 1-hour meeting once a month? How often are you really debriefed before a half hour before the meetings? This board doesn't even represent the demographics really that represents this school, which is 60%, 63% people of color, which I won't call minority. We completely off base. And if you can stand here with a clear heart and clear conscience and sit next to that man after firing this group of people that helped so many people, you don't have to get caught in this age or under this administration, but there will be another administration. There will be new people on this board. Your grandchildren and children will look at you and like, hey, what's going over at MATC? And one day the bottom's going to fall out and it won't make sense. And it won't add up. I could let part of my public comments be silence, because that's what you give us. Or you give us filler. There's state statutes, there's policies and procedures, there's SOPs, and then there's right and wrong. And my grandma said, she said something that I'm not completely ascribing to, but there's a moral truth in it. She said they might keep him out of jail, but they can't keep him out of hell. There's a higher moral order that we serve here. And you guys, deep in your heart, there's a pricking there where you know Durr, Tanya, Annabelle, and Floyd should still be here. As well as Dr. Eve Martin. I've been able to come to the past president's offices for coffee. Dr. Martin, Dr. Burke. I had a level of rapport, and it's not, listen, trinkets of inclusion. It's easy to have the illusion of inclusion and do cute little photo op things for students where they have no power. Right now, they have no power. They have no agency. They have no safe place to go to because it's cut. Right now, your multicultural services or that new, whatever that new office is supposed to be, serves employees. It might seem like you included, especially Black and brown folks, in this place of power, position, and title, but you live in a city that's majority minority that's suffering. Years ago, it was the third poorest city in the nation. So if you think you included in positions of power, especially Black and brown folks in the room of note, you're not, because we this close as society from the bottom falling out. And what would that title serve you then? They said, as the ceiling rises, so does the floor. Your job tonight and moving forward is to raise the ceiling so that everything doesn't fall apart. Raise the ceiling so the floor can rise. I'm done.
Thank you. We're gonna move to item 3 in our agenda, which is approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting on October 28th of this year. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Item number 4 on our agenda is the approval of consent agenda items. May I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda items, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I think with the motion, you'd want to ask us for our approval.
thank you. See, I knew
Oh.
that one of you two will save me. Can I have a motion to get approval? Oh, we did that. All in favor?
I'll second it.
He seconded.
Oh, he seconded. Okay, great.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion moves. Okay, moving on to item number 4 now. May I please have approval of the consent agenda items?
I'll
Can I have a-
approval.
Okay,
I'll move
thank you.
approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We usually ask if there are any items that someone wants to talk about separately.
True.
Removed from the consent agenda.
My apologies, this is my first time at this.
That's fine.
Does anybody want to discuss any of the agenda items? Nothing more? Seeing that there's no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, motion carries. Okay, item number 5 is the resolution of authorizing the sale of item F0382-11-25. The sale of the general obligation promissory note series 2025-2026 for $1.5 million of the Milwaukee Area Technical College. And do I call Mr. Dorat to the table first, or we take a
First, you ask for a motion.
first ask for a motion? Okay, thank you. May I have a
I'll move
motion?
approval.
Thank you.
Second.
You guys are killing me. Perfect. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
All right. Jordan Thorough from Baird. I'm filling in for Justin Fisher tonight. So as you all know, not only are you basically voting on the sale of 26F notes, you're also voting on the parameters resolution for 25-26G, as well as the initial resolution for 25 and 26H.
I think we do that one at a time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in regards to the 25-26 notes sale, so we took bids this morning. We actually had 5 bids, which is actually consistent with your prior 5 sales at the start of the new fiscal year. What we're actually seeing is the same 4 or 5 bidders have consistently come in over those last 5 sales. But we also saw a new firm come in called Northland Securities. They were not the winner, but just something to add. So the actual winner today of your 25-26F notes was TD Financial Products LLC at a true interest cost of 2.93%. Next page. So in regards to your 25-26F notes issue, so it's $1.5 million. You'll receive those funds on December 15th next month. You'll make your first principal payment starting on June 1st of 2027 through 2030. Also, you'll make your first interest payment on this issue starting on June 1st of 2026. Moody's has actually affirmed your rating at AA1. Also said your trenches cost at a 293, and also said TD Financial Products LLC. So next page is just your 25-26 financing plan, which we work with Ava and Paul specifically on building this plan every year. So nothing new here as well. On the left-hand side, you'll see your existing debt. All the blue shading, which says final, has already occurred. And then the ones in black are future debt issuance going forward. Finally, for your rating action, Moody's assigned a AA1, so no change there. It's a great rating. Something to note as well, nothing really has changed with this since your rating action from January. The only thing that's really changed is the amount of debt outstanding. So basically just focus on what you can control, which is your leverage and reserves. Keep up the good work. Any questions?
Do we have to vote for December's if we are or not having a December board meeting? Do we have to vote on
It-
that one as
coming.
well? Or
Yeah,
is that coming?
that's coming
It's
next.
coming.
Thank
Gotta do it one at a
Thank
time.
you,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Director Baker.
So just on your last comment.
Sure.
Where you said, focus on what you can control.
Mhm.
So is there anything in here I can't control that I just need to pay?
Like your
attention to?
tax base, like.
Okay.
That's one thing you can't really necessarily control, the local economy, tax base, et cetera.
Okay,
So,
got it. But in terms of the language in the rating,
Mhm.
fundamentally the same.
Fundamentally the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, the motion has been moved by Director Foley and second by Director Baker. Can you please do a roll call?
Director Case,
Aye.
Director Foley,
Aye.
Director Moore Mohammed,
Aye.
Director Najib,
Aye.
Director Pence,
Aye.
Director Baker,
Aye.
Director Mendieta Ramos.
Aye. Okay, next is resolution F 0383-11-25, authorizing the issuance and establishing the parameters of the sale not to exceed $1.5 million general obligation promissory note series 2025-2026 G of Milwaukee Area Technical College. Can I have a motion, please?
I move approval.
Second.
Anything else? No?
Nope.
Okay. The motion has, yeah,
So, okay, so just a question, because
Mhm.
we will not have a meeting in December. So the authorization of the sale of those, how will we do that?
That's what we just.
You just-
So
yeah,
that's-
we just did that.
You basically authorize Ava or Paul to act on behalf of the board when there is no board meeting.
Okay, we just to be clear, we authorized F, we're now voting to issue G. And so then normally in December, we would vote to authorize G. But we won't be here, so we just tell those guys, cool with
Yep,
this.
in terms of the parameters
And
resolution.
next one is.
It's the same we
Yes.
do like in July, right? Or what's the month that we're?
Yeah, we do something like that.
Same, it's the
Because
same
we passed it.
operation.
Okay,
Director Foley,
Aye.
Director Moore Mohammed.
Aye.
Director Najib,
Aye.
Director Pence,
Aye.
Director Baker,
aye.
Director Case,
Aye.
Director Mendieta Ramos.
Aye. Next is item C, resolution F 0384-11-25, authorizing the issuance of $1.5 million general obligation promissory notes, series 2025-2026 H of Milwaukee Area Technical College. May I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
there any comments? If not, can you please, the motion has been moved by Director Foley and second by Director Pence. Can you please call the roll?
Director Mormon-Conde,
You need to ask if there's any discussion. or
My
questions
apologies.
first.
Is there any discussion? Or questions? I'll get it. Promise you I'll get it by the next two.
There's apprenticeships in this.
Obviously, I haven't.
think we have done
Director Mormon-Conde,
Aye.
Director Najib,
Aye.
Director Pence,
Aye.
Director Baker,
Aye.
Director Case,
Aye.
Director Foley,
Aye.
Director Mendieta Ramos.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, next is item D, resolution F0385-11-25. To approve fiscal year 2024-2025, the annual budget amendment. Can I have Mr. Singh come up? Thank you. And
But first,
but first,
I'd like
yeah,
to move approval.
thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you and good evening, members of the board, President Cruz and faculty, staff and guests. So this item is the resolution to approve, this is 5D, an amendment to the budget for the fiscal year that ended June 30th of last year. And just to explain why we're amending a budget for a year that just finished, the adoption of a budget by fund type and function requires appropriation by the district board according to state statutes. And any modification thus also requires a meeting of the board and approval by the board. And within 2 weeks of tonight's meeting, we must publish a class 1 notice explaining the district board's action. The reason for doing this at this point in the year, and we've done this in past years, as we go through our year-end process and all of the year-end adjustments that occur as we're going through our audit preparation and the audit process, there's movement of expenses amongst the various funds and functions. And in order for us to then report our end of year numbers to the state, we need your approval to match up with the numbers that will show up in our financial statements and our audit, which you'll hear about here shortly from our audit partner from Baker Tilly. And so this is really more of a perfunctory matter instead of doing each one of the adjustments as they occur throughout the year and then all of these year-end adjustments. The process that the technical college system has approved is that we do this at the end of the year. Once we know what our final numbers are, just to make sure everything matches up and we are reporting our financial performance in accordance with state statute. So that's the purpose for this amendment. And it just shows the movement of funds, movement of expenses, as well as revenue amongst the various areas of our budget, which was approved by the board back in the fiscal year that again just ended June 30th. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions or further explain that if you would like.
Are there any questions from the board? Director Penn?
So this is more of a timing thing, right? Would you say it's more timing because of expenses that will go into the next year, have been backed up into this year?
It more has to do with the year-end adjustments, some expenses that occurred in the year that finished on June 30th, but a lot of the year-end adjustments as we're moving between funds as part of our year-end process.
Okay.
That has more to do with those adjustments for the year that was just completed.
Director Baker?
So it looks to me like the revised budget, our revenues were greater. That's a good thing, right?
Well, both the revenues, yes, that's a good question and a great observation. Both the revenues and the expenditures were greater. You can see they were balanced in the approved revised budget that was approved last year, and then they are still balanced. And so that's just a matter of how we have to make those adjustments. You will recall in our budget, if you see at the end of the bottom line of the revenues, we had the 1.5 million we had planned to spend from reserves. And you recall when we last reported out on the end of year that we were going to be above that. So that's the number that you see there where it was really increased. The other increases were actual increases throughout the year, however.
Thanks.
Any additional questions? Any discussion?
Quick question, what are our current reserves?
I do not have that information at my fingertips, so we're gonna have to send that to you. We did do a resolution right after there, I believe in June, that established those reserves. We are at just over 20% of our operating budget by way of the reserves in the operating budget. And then we also have separate reserves in the capital budget and some of those others. So I know that 20% is correct. I
Well,
just don't know
the number I'm interested in is, I think it hit a peak at about $43 million. I think that's the general operating reserves. And we've taken money from it the last 2 or 3 years. So I would just like an update as to what that number is now.
Yeah, it'd be just a bit lower than that. Again, with our budget being around 200 million, so that 20% is probably about 40 million. But we'll get you the
Thank you.
accurate numbers. I'll provide them to Beth to send out to all board members.
Right, and just to follow up on that, I know we've always, as a board, we really track it as that percent. So I appreciate you giving us the percentage number. I think, we have a board policy that it should never go below 15%. I don't think we've ever changed that policy, correct? So it's at a very healthy place, and has been managed well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the resolution has been moved for approval by Director Baker and second by Director Foley. You want to take the roll call?
Director Najib,
Aye.
Director Pence,
Right?
Director Baker,
Yes.
Director Case,
Aye.
Director Foley,
Aye.
Director Moreno Tunde,
Aye.
Director Mendieta Green.
Aye. Next is item 5E, resolution F0386-11-25 to approve the presidential evaluation instrument. And you guys should have that on your seats. There's 2 copies. Yes, sir.
So, little explanation. I looked at this and giving somebody an A and then giving them a 1.0 grade point average. I asked that the 5 be an A.
Shouldn't I be asking for a motion?
Oh,
to-
sorry. I was gonna explain.
Since you're
suggest-
learning, I want to make sure, yeah.
Okay. I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Okay, I think Denise sent out an email about this. I just want to clarify what I was thinking, having just the numbers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, not a big deal.
So Madam Chair.
Yes,
So that means, what we're looking to approve tonight is what's in front of us as version 2. with the
version 2,
numbers.
not 1.
Right,
Correct.
and
If you guys need a minute to look it over, because I know you email to everybody. They have version 2. Okay, so everybody online should have version 2 and 1? Correct.
Question.
Yes. Director Ford.
It would take me a long time to figure out exactly what the differences are between versions 1 and 2. Could we have somebody point those out?
Director-
Just the numbers.
Tell me what that means.
on the first page,
Yeah,
instead of the best being a 1, now the best is a 5.
got it.
Kind of like a traditional.
Reverse it.
tiered scale.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
What can I ask, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Motion moves. So now we are moving into item 6 of our agenda, which is the monthly reports. And I believe we are going to start with the chairpersons. The first announcement that we have is in regards to our commencement ceremony. Please let Peter know if you will be attending the winter commencement to be held Saturday, December 13th at the Pfizer Forum, starting at 11 a.m. The second message is in regards to the gingerbread house competition. MATC culinary and baking students will be showcasing their annual gingerbread house competition at the downtown campus beginning next week. The houses will be available for viewing at the downtown campus, room M508, on December 1st and 2nd, and then they will be moved to the Milwaukee Public Market for display from December 3rd until December 15th. The award ceremony will take place on Wednesday, December 10th, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Milwaukee Public Market. I highly recommend that you guys visit them. Those are some extraordinary work that I've seen in the past, so. Next will be to save the date for the ACCT National Legislative Summit. If you are planning to attend, please let Beth or Pete know. It will be taking place on February 8th through the 11th of next year. Next, I would like to share a message from the board that will be later publicized. Not doing this part? No, it's part of the chair's report. Maybe I'll do it at the end. Okay. Next is the president's report. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. What did I miss?
Skip the step.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, my apologies. Director Foley, could you please give us a district board report?
Sure, two things. One is the District Boards Association is conducting a nationwide search for a new executive director. Any suggestions you have can be made directly to me or any member of the board there. We are trying to right the ship a bit and have sent out, all of you should have received an email indicating a new meeting schedule and new activities. If you haven't gotten that, let me know and I'll figure out what's wrong with the emailing system. You should have received it. I think the organization is going to be restored as far more active and effective than it's been in the last few years, and I encourage all of you to participate. Second is the District Boards Association distributed this document to two sides, which was at your seat, which is the WTCS and DVA summary of legislation that's been proposed in the current session that affects or may affect colleges. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's so many of these that it's pretty complex and detailed, and we have no idea whether any of them are ever going to come up for a vote. But for the most part, the legislation under statewide policy changes at the end is what we would generally refer to as part of the culture wars. It has to do with how we describe minorities. It has to do with whether we put religious slogans in our schools, and limits flag displays to US and state flags. The entire group on that second page is pretty much about those things. The others on the front page are largely about sources of funding, the attempt to define rules and requirements for the exercise of free speech on campus, and a number of things about campus operations, which is pretty much a hodgepodge of various things. I'd encourage you to read through them so you know what the legislature is thinking about. And I think we'll probably have comments from both the interim director of the District Boards Association and also Rami, our own lobbyist, about these things as we move forward.
Yeah, so I went down more than one rabbit hole after I got this piece of
course you
paper. Because it's kind of my nature. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's very impactful. There are some things that aren't, but there are, some of them, the new dual enrollment board, it's like, I don't know if that's going to create possibilities. That might, there's two people from WTCS on that. I think there should be a lot more, but that's just me. But that could, I don't know much about the Start College Now. But I think that, there could be some opportunity. Certainly EMS training, holy cow, that's something we can do in dual credit with high schools. We used to do EMS and EMT training and MTS. So I think there's some great things. Some of these are, the free speech one, when you drill into it, gives people the right to sue the district board if they feel that their rights have been violated and there is no definition of what that is or who oversees it. So it's, you know, it's kind of, and I mean, several other kind of struck out to me, but I won't make you guys go down every rabbit hole I went down. But I will say the other one that I found distressing is in the language requirements. Because one of the things, as you, and I can see Representative Moramakundi kind of shaking his head, is that instead of being able to provide interpreters, everything has to be in English, or you can provide AI or some other mechanical form of translation, which I think a lot of us realize that people who English may not be their first language, AI is not always sufficient, and or mechanical forms. And so I think that there are some things in here that could be very impactful to our students, to the college. And so you know, I didn't know if we were going to discuss this today or not, but I think it might be the sort of thing that we might want to even have a board session, maybe something that lobbyists kind of do for us separate, that people can either attend or come to virtually or something. Because I think there's a number of things of a policy nature that could be very impactful that we may really want to keep an eye on as a board.
Good. Thank you. Any additional comments? Dr. Moramakundi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in viewing this legislation, everything that's happening at the state, I try to come to this body from a nonpartisan perspective and not bringing partisanship into what it is that we do. However, I am more than willing to help us have a conversation about these things. We talk about this stuff all the time. However, from a partisan standpoint, however, I can do my best to speak about it from a more neutral position, if that could help. Because many of these nuances, I think, are very important to approach, if you will. And so if we could have something, if we were going to have something with our person that comes with Rami to come and have a conversation, I'm more than willing to assist with that.
Okay. Thank you. That would be great.
Thanks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Of course. Any additional comments?
I just have a question. We obviously need to understand these things, and we do have our own lobbyists who will, I assume, do that. She always has. Right? Something I don't understand, and perhaps you can answer this question, is what the timeline of this is. If one wants to educate this board and make some decisions about what we want to affirmatively oppose or affirmatively support, and then go do it, by when do we have to do those two initial steps in order to make an impact?
I'm sure.
Yes.
It depends, because some of these have already been in and out of committee. Some of them are going to the governor's desk. He may or may not veto them, and then we would have a override the veto process. So it's not always easy to tell. I'd have to look at them individually and see where they are within the process, and I could just write a report about where everything is right now, and then get that to board members if it's.
And if I could, the Boards Association and WTCS has always been very good at analyzing these things, timelines, and having an understanding of in the system how these things impact us. And so we don't stand alone in figuring it out or in the timelines on. Yes, go ahead.
To that point, timelines change very quickly. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bills that get pulled for various reasons. Just in our last session, there was something that we thought was going to happen and didn't happen because of political maneuvering. For the last 3 sessions, multiple bills that I want to speak on the floor of the assembly got pulled. And I think what has been, what I'm told is unprecedented in the time that I've been in the assembly, that kind of action where bills or ideas are put on the table and we're going to have a conversation about them and then getting yanked the way that they have is unprecedented in our current time. So I think our leadership in my caucus would have a conversation, would have a better idea of when these things were going to happen and take place. And even then, we don't always know. Sorry. Roundabout way of saying, you know.
You were gonna say something, Dr. Bruce?
Just quickly, we subscribe to something called the Wheeler Report. And so if I don't know if any of you have access to that, but I'll be happy to have Beth, when I get those Wheeler reports, to send you those. That kind of gives you an idea of where those bills are currently in the process. Yeah.
Dr. Benz, you wanted to share something?
A timeline would be helpful. I guess I was gonna say, but this is a good document, Mark. Thank you.
I did not prepare it. I will credit for it.
Thank you. If there's no more comments, then we'll move on to the president's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, everyone. This time of year, we're wrapping up our the semester almost, and then also wrapping up our athletics for the semester. And I'm proud to say that again, this semester we've had a really great semester of sports here at the college, and our student athletes have worked very hard inside the classroom and also on the field, on the court, to make sure that they represent us the best they can. So we're really proud of them. I want to thank Athletic Director Casey and all the coaches. In particular, we have this evening, we have 3 sports that are being represented, and they had some really amazing seasons. Our tennis team, our soccer team, and our volleyball team. And I want to say a little bit about each of them in my report and highlight some of the things from this season. The women's volleyball team completed a historic season with a 30-12 record. This is the second time ever achieving 30 wins, securing the program's 3rd straight playoff berth. The Stormers opened with an 11-match win streak and had a program first victory over Moraine Valley Community College. So again, they're doing great things. Coach Shell, thank you for all the work that you do, and everyone else, because we know that it's not easy, but thank you for again having a spectacular season that just ended. Soccer, Coach Aaron Gentry, thank you, and for the assistant coaches for your work. The women's soccer team achieved its first winning season this fall, finishing 5-4-3 and building on last year's performance. The team started with a program best 5-0-2 record, featuring a historic 10-goal game in their first ever victory over Bryant Stratton. The Stormers secured their 3rd program playoff berth before a tough loss in the Region 4 playoffs. So congratulations also to our soccer team. Last, tennis, head coach Mark Picard. Thank you for your work, and the women's team delivered its best season since the program's inception in 2018, finishing 6-2 and achieving its first ever winning record. They closed the regular season with 6 straight victories, including a defeat of the reigning Region 4 champion Moraine Valley for the first time ever. They also earned the first-time wins over Sauk County, College of Lake County, and College of DuPage. At the Region 4 tournament, the Stormers turned in their strongest showing yet, placing 6th and narrowly missing a national berth. So congratulations to the 3 teams, their coaches, to athletes. Might we come up for a quick picture with the board?
Get George Webb's to hand out hamburgers every time they have a
Sure.
game.
Oh, yeah.
I think last time we had them stand there, right?
Yeah.
And you want us
We'll
here?
just stand there, just stay, we'll move up to the other side.
We'll sit, how about we sit in front of us?
We're gonna
Yeah,
sit.
of course you said that.
Perfect. I was gonna move over here anyways.
You did great. You know, didn't even break on it.
Is this good?
Okay.
Mark,
Yes.
On the side.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Smile.
Which one are you looking at?
Dormers.
Face,
Face. That's good.
All right, congratulations.
I'm good. How are you? I appreciate you. Well.
You on the team too?
Yeah, I actually was part of all three teams.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So I got to.
Multi-sport.
All three.
Wow, that's awesome.
If me or perhaps some soccer fanatic in my family wanted to come watch the games, is there a way for us to know the schedules and?
We can do that. So they happen at Oak Creek. And so we can definitely have the schedule sent out. I encourage all of you to attend our student athletic events. I mean, they're really great, and just showing that support to our student athletes is very important.
Oh, yeah.
They work so hard. So thanks to all of them again for that. On October 30th, I was interviewed on the Tech Ed podcast, a premier global resource for technical education and the future of the technical workforce. The podcast streams in 112 countries and 43 platforms, focusing on innovation and positive disruption in STEM and technical education. My discussion really focused on the work that we're doing here at MATC and the technical college system of Wisconsin, and how we're really breaking down barriers, trying to end generational poverty, and also increasing economic mobility in our community. So great conversation, and I hope I sent it to the board members. I hope you get to see it, but and it is available on Spotify and YouTube. On November 6th was the 5th annual Correcting the Narrative. And this is an event that was focused on individuals that have overcome barriers, and they're formerly incarcerated individuals that are now doing great things in their lives and giving back to the community. And there were several individuals, I believe 5 individuals, that were honored. This is an event that happened at UWM. I was able to attend there with several other, Dr. Bird was there as well, and it really celebrated those individuals. And we actually had one student from MATC that was given an award based on the things he's achieving, not only academically, but what he's doing professionally and in the community. Great event. Coffee with Cruise events this month held Coffee with Cruise events at each of our campuses, and the turnout with these events were really great, underscoring the community's desire for an open dialogue. Really gave me another opportunity to talk to students, faculty, and staff, and really listen to what they're saying. And at the end of the day, it's more about that interaction, maybe a little bit of coffee, but more about the interaction that I have with everyone on the campuses. The healthcare pathway update, just want to tell you that healthcare Dean Eric Goss recently visited a Community Smiles Dental, and that's a Medicaid clinic where we send students for public health rotation. We will be continuing our partnership with Community Smiles as they open a new 12-chair clinic in Aurora facility at former Wisconsin Avenue School on 27th and Wisconsin. We're currently working with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee College of Public Health to develop a potential public health pre-major with general education and new transfer agreements with nutrition and dietetics tech and physical therapy assistant. So again, opening those pathways, not only students starting here, but how they can continue their education at other institutions. On November 11th, we honored our military veterans with a Veterans Day celebration here at the downtown campus. Our very own Paul Zink, our Vice President for Administration and Operations, and a 20-year Army veteran, spoke about his service and continued military engagement. This is also an opportunity to remind our community about our commitment to supporting our veterans and their families that transition into civilian life. Support services for veterans are available through our Military Education Support Office, which has helped 259 student veterans and 151 dependents in the 2024-25 academic year, and also the Veterans Resource Center. On November 12th, I attended the retiree luncheon at the Western Racquet Club and reconnected with so many of our former employees. The event provided an excellent opportunity to share updates on our new strategic plan and discuss ways that our retirees can volunteer on our campuses. Just this past fall, we had several of the retirees that are part of the association that volunteered their time to greet students on the first week, during the first week of classes. So it's a really great way to get them involved, get them back onto campus, and share some good cheer with our students. We hosted on the 10th anniversary celebration of Leading Change Africa on November 13th. It's an organization that transforms young Africans into leaders and leaders into agents of change through access to higher education and leadership development. So over the past decade, the collaboration between MATC and Leading Change Africa has successfully provided vital scholarships and pathways for students from underrepresented communities. The celebration acknowledged Leading Change Africa's leadership, including our very own Vice Provost Sadiq, and emphasize how this work aligns with their commitment of inclusion and really strengthening the entire community. Food donations, we know that with the changes that have happened, and now maybe not so, but a lot of changes have been happening with SNAP benefits and other things that impact our students and our community. We know that in our response, we've launched a college-wide food drive to restock campus pantries across all our campus locations. The MATC Foundation partnered with the Student Resource Center to expand access to emergency grants for November, and has dedicated a donation page specific to supporting the MATC food pantry. The foundation is also working with Manpower Group, which in early November initiated a food drive specifically for MATC students, and Manpower's food will continue until the end of the semester. All right, Wizards of Baking. Anybody watch that? It's fun. Kimberly Wright, an MATC baking and pastry art student and owner of Signature Sweets, is competing on the Food Network channel in the new baking competition called Wizards of Baking, which premiered this month. Competition features 8 teams of pastry chefs and cake artisans who are tasked with crafting edible showpieces inspired by moments and themes in Harry Potter. So very exciting there. Our end of year scholarship appeal, $100,000 match for the Student Success Package. I also want to mention that through December 31st, the MATC Foundation donations to the Student Success Package will be matched dollar for dollar up to $100,000. So whoever wants 100,000, we're looking for 100,000. This appeal is conducted via mail, email, social media, and is featured on WUWM. The Student Success Package includes support for tuition, books, materials, other academic costs, and emergency grants as needed. International Day, a walk around the world. Last week, the International Student Association, International Student Services held a walk around the world at our downtown campus. The event included food samples from around the world and a runway show representing countries from across the globe. And that was a great way to really, accentuate all the great cultures that are represented here at the college. The Stormsgiving and Turkey giveaway. Last week, students were invited to enjoy a Thanksgiving meal at downtown campus. Also last week, we gave away 100 free turkeys to actively enrolled MATC students through a partnership between the MATC Foundation and Kroger Foods. And finally, I attended this morning at Walker Square. And the Fast Fund joined forces to create a community resource event that really I got the numbers. I think over 250 students and community members came by this morning. This event was organized to offer essential support to the community during holiday season. Not only did it, did we give out food, we gave out chickens, turkeys, and ham, but also we had community partners that were there helping us out. We also had many of our student resource services there represented as well. So we extended our sincere gratitude to the Milwaukee Diaper Missions, Sherman Park Grocery for a lot of the produce that was given, and all other participants for their involvement. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz. Next is item C, the Treasurer's Report. Director Pence.
Okay, very briefly tonight, we did not get the reports done for this meeting or from our last committee meeting. We met on November 5th. Paul, Eva, Jolene and Sherry were there. Did a really kind of more of a deep dive than we usually do. And we went through the market update and the investment performance of all the funds in here. The asset allocation, where we're at with that, we have a 75-25 mix of bonds and stocks that we reviewed. We also reviewed similar endowment models that include the alternative investments that is modeled after the Yale model of things. So more to come on this a little bit. Then we went through all the investment policy documents and are going to come back with some more, I believe, next time. After our next meeting is in January, so at the end of January we'll have more information on that. Did a deep dive into the management fees and things like that are involved, and a lot of the discussion got down to the alternative investments. More to come on that. There's more fees than the eye can see as we're looking at different things. We also, because we're at a certain amount with the alternatives, we added a Blue Vista Real Estate Partners alternative investment fund into the rest of the fund portfolio. So that's most of what we did. The next meeting is again in January, so we'll have more to come in January for the January meeting. Do you have any questions, Mark?
I have a comment. The Yale system of investment was one of the first that put significant parts of their portfolio into alternative investments.
Right.
In order to increase revenues, and it worked spectacularly for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think they went from an endowment of something like $3 billion to $33 billion in that time period. I know from the recent alumni publications that investment scheme has fallen out of favor with them.
Mm-hmm.
On the theory that the good opportunities there are now behind us, and particular concern about, I think it's still a bill in Congress, I don't know if it's passed, that would allow individual investors to invest their 401ks in those kinds of investments.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the conversation is suggesting that we reconsider having alternative investments as part of our portfolio, or if you're talking about doing something else with them. But just from what I know, independent of what you're doing, because I haven't seen that, there's a lot of controversy about who, if anyone, should be investing in these things at this point. I mean, it's everything from Bitcoins to individual plots of real estate. Once everyone knows about them, usually the better returns are gone, whatever the investment is.
I have thoughts on a liquidity side of that as well, because as the way these work a little bit is that you're investing as you go in smaller chunks to get up to the amount that you pledge. Again, a little bit on the fee side, a little bit more on there's administrative things that I think we have to do a little bit more, but I have no opinion yet. We're digging pretty deep into this with Paul's help, and looking at all this just to make sure we're on the right path. So, but any more questions?
No.
Thank you.
And this is for the OPEB?
This is for both.
For both funds.
The OPEB has less alternatives than the other fund. So.
Thank you. Now we're moving to item D in the District Senate report. Ms. Elizabeth Calixto.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Cruz, members of the MATC District Board, administration, and the college community. My name is Elizabeth Felixstowe. I am the chairperson for our district student association. And while our student board representative position is currently vacant, I will be here to share some updates with you. Earlier this month, MATC hosted a community day event that connected students to a wide range of campus and community resources. Students were able to meet representatives from departments such as financial aid, advising, student life, and career hub. The community partners also participated, offering information on housing support, food resources, health services, and job opportunities. The events provided an accessible way for students to get help with academic planning, personal needs, and future career goals. The District Student Association has been having regular meetings throughout this month. These sessions focus on upcoming initiatives, student concerns, budget discussion, and planning for the spring semester activities. Officers of the District Student Association use these meetings to discuss funding requests, collaborate on campus improvement, and strengthen community communication between the student body. Many student organizations held events such as club meetups, workshops, and volunteer projects. These activities gave students opportunities to make connections, explore interests, and participate in leadership roles. Events range from cultural celebrations to academic support workshops. As the semester approaches its end, Campus Labs has scheduled multiple events to help students prepare for final exams. These include tutoring sessions, skilled workshops, time management seminars, and quiet study spaces hosted by the library and student life. MATC is planning student-centered holiday activities, including a winter celebration event at the Mequon campus, providing games, refreshment, and stress relief activities. These gatherings aim to help students relax during the busy end of semester period and build a sense of community on campus. There are lists of early notices for the spring orientation and welcome events, which will officially begin at the start of next semester. These sessions help new and returning students learn about campus resources, meet staff, and get prepared for academic success. MATC Campus Labs continues to be an essential platform for students to stay updated on events, resources, and engagement opportunities. These events offered this month helps support students' well-being, academic achievement, and campus involvement. DSA will continue to push engagement with students with the use of Campus Labs. Meanwhile, upcoming workshops and celebration will continue to provide meaningful support as students transition into finals and the next academic term. Thank you again.
Thank you. Next report is a bi-monthly report. Can we have the PBS General Manager please come up, Ms. Debbie Helmet?
Thank you.
Evening. In the last 4 months, we've gained 2,000 new members. Half of these are sustainers that give every month. This brings our total member count to 41,478. You may recall we've been stuck at kind of around 40 for quite a while. So that's a welcome sight. And our community has donated $1 million towards the $2.1 million that we lost through federal funding, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. On the I looked at cutting some expenses. And so we've cut the movie package, which ran on channel 36 and cost $80,000. I couldn't really we really couldn't make an argument for how that would be. I know there are some movies that are educational, but it didn't really fit within our mission. So it was time to let that go. Maybe at some point it'll come back, but not in the very near future. The same company that runs our car donation program has created a real estate program where the station will receive a donation after the home has sold, and we'll start advertising that in January. PBS relayed recently that the American Revolution, and I know at least one of you is watching this. Two, okay.
Great.
Yay, my work is done. All right, so they didn't tell us what the numbers were, but they relayed that the American Revolution by Ken Burns broke all the previous streaming records for the first night and the second night. Hoping that we'll get those specific numbers pretty soon and I can pass them along. we're working with the Kenosha Civil War Museum for a screening and panel discussion in January wrapped around the American Revolution. And now I'll just tell you a little bit about some of the new programs, new local programs that we have coming out. I mentioned a few of these before, but just a little bit more about them. Wisconsin's Underground Railroad is going to air in February. That's a tentative title. It's a powerful story of courage and resistance, and Racine was an important stop on the Underground Railroad, using its Lake Michigan harbor to help fugitive slaves escape to Canada. Our series, Movers and Shakers, Milwaukee's Change Makers, are short 15 minutes or less pieces that were designed to be on digital first and then put together to be on broadcast. And they're on people who contributed significantly to Milwaukee. Jimmy Banks is one of the first of 2 Black soccer players on the U.S. men's national team, and the first to play in the World Cup in 1990. Ole Evinrude, the inventor of the first commercially successful outboard motor in 1907, revolutionized boating and made it accessible to the average person. MATC matriarchs Charlotte Partridge and Miriam Frink were the co-founders of the Leighton School of Art in 1920, which is the predecessor of MATC. Edna Ferber, a novelist, short story writer, and playwright. She won a Pulitzer for So Big in 1924. Showboat was made into a musical in 1927. Cimarron was adapted into the 1931 film, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture. And she was right here in Wisconsin. Chief Justice William Rehnquist, second longest serving Chief Justice, serving for over 18 years. He was the 16th Chief Justice of the United States, serving from 1986 until his death in 2005. A staunch conservative credited with administrative efficiency. William and Artie Halyard, who opened Wisconsin's only Black-owned bank, Columbia Savings and Loan, which celebrated 100 years this year, which is absolutely amazing. Opened in 1924 to help Black people secure home loans when redlining and racial covenants restricted housing options. Those are the 6 that will be featured in the first wave of Movers and Shakers. We hope to have another second wave of 6 to be announced later. Field Notes with Elizabeth Kramer. Elizabeth Kramer has done some shows on Vietnam veterans' mental health issues, and we've had really good response to that. She is a therapist, and she also does things, she says, in her real life too. So she struggles with whether or not she wants to be a warrior woman who climbs mountains and jumps crazy kind of travel things. But what she's lending to us is her love and travel of Wisconsin. So Field Notes will be showcasing plants, animals, and places unique to Wisconsin. The Making of Black Milwaukee by renowned historian John Gerda is tentatively scheduled to be finished in February. I think it's going to probably take a little bit longer. He started out thinking it was going to be an hour, and I said, no, at the very least, probably 3. He's up to 2 hours now, so I expect he's going to need an extension, which is it's a good thing. And we'll be setting up a lot of screenings with that. We put a spot on the air asking for families to send in their home movies, pictures, stories, and we've gotten really good response to that. So I'm interested to see what comes back and ends up in the documentary. Rhythm Cafe MKE, its 4th collection of local musicians, was launched recently. There are about 10 local musicians in that one. The 50th anniversary of the Hmong Coming to America will also air in February. We recently did, about 2 weeks ago, we did a veterans screening at the War Memorial called Honor in the Air. It was about a helicopter pilot from Wisconsin, Captain Scott Alwyn, and he did 5 tours in Vietnam, which is unheard of. And he had over 200 medals. We'll be doing December 13th. We'll be celebrating Jane Austen's 250th birthday with what else? A tea at the Women's Club of Wisconsin, because 1924, they would have been, well, would have been more than 1924. They would have been drinking a lot of tea and have pinkies up, right? December 13th from 2 to 4, guest speaker, Dr. David Southward, professor at UWM Honors College. He's an expert on Jane Austen's writings and her fascination with embarrassment as a comic device and human foible. I would invite all of you to probably come to that. That would be interesting, especially you.
See?
We're working on Be My Neighbor Day at the main public library downtown in March. Daniel Tiger will be there along with free books and backpacks for the first 100 families. I'm not sure. We've tried to convey to the library exactly what a superstar Daniel Tiger is. The line will be wrapped around the block, I am sure. Anytime that we've had Daniel Tiger around at any of the stations that I've been around, it is crazy but good. And pictures will be really wonderful to show you guys after. And then recently I was invited to be on the board of the American Public Television, the second largest distributor of content behind PBS. So I was happy to be part of that group. And hopefully I'll be able to tell you the inside scoop on some of the programs that are coming up. Anybody have any questions? I'll be happy to answer them.
Director Foley?
You said that we've made up 1 million of the $2.1 million shortfall resulting from the end of federal funding.
Yeah.
What is our plan for the remaining 1.1 million?
We're working like crazy to get more before the end of December, but we're changing some of the things like asking for sustainers a lot more. We've got an ad rotation that's steady on Instagram and Facebook. For $15 a month, we're asking people to join. And then we're looking into foundations that we haven't worked with before, especially family foundations who are very interested in the educational side of what we do. And we've got a lead on $100,000 gift in that space. So a variety of things, and I'll be happy to report on all of those things in the next meeting.
Thank you. Second, has our viewership been impacted by the changes at PBS and CPV at all?
I haven't seen, I mean, it's only been 4 months, so it wouldn't show up too much right now. It's kind of early, but I haven't seen a big uptick in that.
Okay, and then I have one suggestion for Daniel Tiger.
Yeah.
The invitations for that should be sent specifically to every state legislator, every federal congressman and senator, and the members of their staffs, to get them thinking about PBS in the way they actually think about it. We had a lot of, well, you and I had some of those conversations with staff members in Washington, where if you ask the people on the staff, who is your favorite character, they all have a ready answer. And if we can't persuade the current generation, we're going to have to persuade the next generation. So that might be a useful.
All of the legislators in our area are usually invited to most things, but make sure that those are.
I'd go more broadly with this one.
Okay, sure. Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Anything else? No. You're just dying to ask me something.
Ken Burns' show is great. I love the detail, the history in it. I'm done.
It's very good.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When Elmo comes to the public library, let me.
Cookie Monster.
Not Big Bird?
Oscar.
Cookie Monster.
Me, Elmo.
Oscar.
Thank you. Next, we have the annual report for the Graham Leachy Billy Act.
Grand Leach Bliley.
Thank you. I tried. If I can have Mr. Don Kaspersen come and talk to us about it. Oops. Not here? Okay. So what do we do in this case? Move on?
Well,
On.
I think Paul's gonna try it.
Okay,
I'll try to speak to that, Madam Chair.
thank you.
I didn't think I saw Don in the room here. So the Gramley's-Bliley Act, we usually just refer to as GLBA.
I could have just
So
stepped back.
starting about 3 years ago, had reporting requirements, and this is something that is actually discussed during our audit engagement. Here you have a report that is in a format that was really specified by WTCS as just a 2-page report. And just to explain the items on the report, so the areas that are responsible for GLBA safeguards here at MATC is our Information Security Office. That is Don Kasprek, who you mentioned and who is not here. And also, this is also looked at by Brian Kubik, who's our internal auditor, and will be reported out to the advisory audit committee when it meets here next time as well. The requirements basically of GLBA was that we implement safeguards to protect mostly student financial information. That was the major component of GLBA, but also specified that we establish procedures for how we would identify if there was any kind of a loss of data or theft of data or a security breach related to that data. And so we have done all of that. We, on the second page of that document, talks about some of the safeguard components that are required. And we have all of these in place to include the program management, risk assessment and safeguards, oversight of our service providers. So we make sure that any contract that we have that deals with that sort of information within our ERP or our student information system also are adhering to the GLBA safeguards. And the modification last year that I understand Don reported out on was just a requirement that we have a written incident response plan, and we do have that. And new this year is discussion of the digital identity verification and fraud prevention solution. We've actually seen quite a bit of activity in that way here at MATC with the summer term, with fraudulent, what we believe are fraudulent students, ghost students is a term that we use. And we've implemented, with your approval, a identity verification software provider called Secure, which is also contracted with the state system procurement offices to help in that effort to identify what we believe are fraudulent students prior to them enrolling and having student aid dispersed and all of those things. So that's about the best I can do with the information provided, but I did talk with Don about what his plan was to present, and I apologize that he is not here.
You have any questions, members of the board?
Just
Director Foley?
a comment, I may have said this last month, but there were presentations at ACCT from at least 2 California schools that were using some sort of an AI tool in order to identify ghost students. If you don't know what that is, I can get you the presentation, but it doesn't sound like we're doing that. So there may be another tool available. Don't have any details. So one of those schools said they had, I think it was a 30%, 30+% ghost application rate sometime in the last year. And they got it down to 14%, which is still not good enough, but a big step. So if you can look it up yourself, or if you want me to find for you, let me know.
I recalled a comment, Director Foley, and thanks for that again. We've had a pretty extensive effort. Josh Montavon, who's our Director of Financial Aid, has been leading a group under Dr. King's leadership and cross-functional group here that includes our IT security, the registrar's office, finance office that deals with student accounts. We've had a pretty extensive effort on that across the college, really since about last April or May, I guess. Late. And so continue to just pay an awful lot of attention to that. It's been a big, I also learned as I attended recently a business officers conference with WTCS. I mean, all the schools are dealing with this. So we're sharing ideas and resources as well. I'll make sure I mention that to Don as well.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Might as well stay there.
Okay.
Our next item is board monitoring, and we have item A, financial and single audit update from our external auditor, and I believe you're presenting.
Yes, so we have Paul Franz from Baker Tilly, who's the audit partner that deals with our engagement. And so Paul's going to give you an update on where we are with our end of year financial statement audit, as well as a single audit. Those are actually two separate engagements, and an update on each. So Paul, I'll just ask for you to do that.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
To give you a little bit of historical information, typically when you see me, we are at a point where we're ready to issue financial statements. We are very close on the financial audit side to being issued. There were and have been previously a number of new governmental accounting standards that have slowed down the audit processes so that management had enough time to go through and assess each of those new standards yearly that have kind of slowly worked the audit process backwards. Happy to say we're through those. Things went very smoothly in the audit process with Paul, Eva, and Sue and their support teams on the financial side. And so we do plan to issue an unmodified opinion, also known as a clean bill of health. I'll present in more detail to the advisory audit committee next month and provide drafts, but don't expect any significant changes from where we sit today, other than just not having drafts in front of you and not having worked through that with the advisory audit committee. On the single audit side, we're through that process. Unfortunately, due to a number of challenges at the federal government level, the compliance supplement, which is what we use to ultimately determine what and how we're going to audit compliance on federal grants, has not been issued in final. There's a draft that was put out in August that we're using. So we've conducted all the work. We've gone all the way to the point where we are done. We just can't issue that in final until that becomes finally issued. There is no horizon date that's out there that says here's when it's coming. We're just ultimately at the whim of when that does get finalized. This is not the first time that we've gone through this. There is a 9-month requirement for single audits to be done and submitted. When this has happened previously, that 9 months has been amended and adjusted to allow not to have findings in that. So again, don't have any compliance concerns. We'll plan to issue an unmodified opinion. It just, unfortunately, we're sitting tight through there. So the other report besides the financial and the single audit that we typically would talk about is an audit results letter with you. There are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that I plan to disclose in there. We look at the significant transaction cycles of the college and district, looking for areas of weakness and concern, and then build our audit plan around that. There were no deficiencies that came to light through that process that would lead to material misstatements or even just recommendations along those lines. Again, good sound financial data that it's being provided to you throughout the year. Little to no journal entry work that came through our review suggestions to management. This was just a matter again of when I refer back to the financial audit, them just needing to work through all the challenges that the governing accounting group, GASB, put out for them to do. So with that, I'll pause and ask any questions. You would typically approve. There is no need from our audit standpoint in order to issue that in final in the future. We don't need your approval. That's been just a ultimately internal decision to be done. Not wrong to do it that way, but certainly we will meet the 12/31 deadline with the WCTS requirements without it.
Any questions? Dr. Beck?
Yeah, so help me with that. Okay, so the audit does not have to be approved by.
Does not need to be formally approved.
We've always
Yes,
done it
from our
because we like
side, yes. You're not doing it for us. Internally, it is something that the board has done previously, and it's not unusual to peers. I would say it's in the space where I go do presentations, it's 50-50, and if boards are approving, but ultimately, no, it doesn't slow our audit process down. But it is good for you to review it and act. That's really ultimately what you're doing is putting out there that, hey, we reviewed this and we accept responsibility for it. So.
Right, because the question that was in my mind before the last sentence you said about 12/31 is where are, is this going to hurt our schedule? So you will meet that deadline.
We will meet
You
it.
See no material, I'm just repeating for myself. There's no material weaknesses. The management letter you'd be sending us would say, hey, cool, clean bill of health.
Correct.
And that you're comfortable. It's mostly just us checking the boxes for the new GASB forms.
Yeah, well, and again, ultimately, everybody going through the right review stages, letting management see the financial product that we have, us having a quality control review go through, and everything that leads up to those final steps was slower in the process due to the magnitude of the work that needed to be done.
So then we'll see it in January and get a report on it in January.
Correct.
Thank you.
But yes, yeah, but specifically to anything 12/31, where it sits today, I'm 100% confident where we sit.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I wondered if I might have a go back to an item I reported on previously.
Of course.
Director Foley asked about our reserve balances, and I was reminded that each month in your financial report, which is item 4B, at the bottom of that page, it has the reserves and where they stood at June 30, as well as where they were at the beginning of last year. Just to go back to that item, at June 30, our reserve balance in the general fund was $39.1 million, which was just shy of 21% of our general fund operating revenue. So you do have that in your packets. It's under item 4B, and it's there every month. And I apologize, I didn't remember that when you asked the question. So
Thank you.
thank you.
In other words, we should know, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have item B of board monitoring and dual enrollment. Can I please have Dr. Josephine Gomez and Mr. Dr. John Hill join us at the table?
Good evening and thank you. We prepared a PowerPoint slide for you. Very good. Good evening once again. I'm Dr. Gomez and my esteemed colleague here, Dr. Hill from MPS. We'll be reporting on 3-year data for dual enrollment here at MATC. Just an overview of our presentation. We'll just review the 5 programs that we currently have and 3-year data trends, information about some of our top partner high schools and the schools that we serve. We also will provide numbers on FTE contribution, the credentials that are mostly earned by students in our dual credit program, and the course credits that we have awarded in the past school year. And then, of course, talking about future plans with Dr. Hill and MPS and some of our other partners. At MATC, we have 5 dual enrollment programs currently. I've divided them up into the ones that are held here on campus, which are Start College Now, where students can enroll in 1 or more courses and they contribute to our FTEs. We have 16 dual enrollment academies in which high school seniors or juniors enroll in 1 or 2 years. They graduate with either a certificate or a technical diploma, and that also feeds into our FTE calculation. And then we have our MQ program, which is a series of courses, both at MATC and UWM, for about 120 MPS students. For all of these, the students must apply to their school district and must be approved by the school district. These students primarily can take any class they want as long as the school district has approved those courses. Many school districts are looking to be financially secure, and so they're looking for programs that lead students to complete a certificate, a technical diploma, or definitely give them at least that first year of the general education studies. The programs that we have at high school for this year's report are thriving. We have the transcripted credit program in which the high school teacher is credentialed to teach one of our MATC courses. Transcripted credit does not contribute to FTE, but to our OBF presidential goal for WTCS. Our contracted classes are taking off with the specific partnership of MPS. And this is where one of our MATC instructors will go out to the high school and teach one of our courses there. And that does contribute to our FTE. For 3-year trends, we can see, you know, a sharp increase in overall credits at 26,000 credits plus being awarded in the last school year. That's a nice jump from the previous years where we've been at 17 and 18. We've increased the number of students that are involved and have the opportunity from about 3,600 to 5,700 students. And the middle number that you see in orange is the enrollment number. So that's how many total credits the students that are you know, represented, the head count are taking. So you could have one student taking one class, or one student taking 4 or 5 classes, or you could have 10 students taking a class. So that's what that number represents. The sharp increase is due to the participation of more high schools in our transcripted credit program. Many schools are looking at either the challenges of getting students here for transportation and also transcripted credit currently right now is free of charge to all of our high schools. The high schools do pay for their teachers to be credentialed, but it's very cost effective to have those students with those credits at the high school. So you see that spike in there. In terms of our top partners, we continue to have a very strong partnership with Oak Creek High School. They do provide a lot of opportunity for their students to take part, especially if transcripted credit. You'll see that in this report, there are 3 MPS schools represented that really have engaged with the work that we do, especially when it comes to the transcripted credit. So these are just, you know, the top 10, 11 or so schools and the number of credits that they're each bringing in. Transcripted credit, as I pointed out before, this is where the major jump has been from 11,000 credits in FY23 and 24, and jumping up to about 20,000 in FY25. We've just taken a short list of the schools that have really come up with providing more opportunities, and these are all the growth that we've seen from FY24 to FY23. There are 3 MPS schools represented, and then, you know, 3 schools that are not Milwaukee Public, but you're still large public high schools. As I said before, transcripted credit continues to be one of the areas that the high schools, you know, prefer to engage in, you know, given funding and given transportation. John, not sure if you had anything to add here for the high schools that you've worked with.
Certainly. Transcripted definitely is something that is easier for students because of the transportation. That's a significant challenge for quite a few students. So a while back during COVID, when we had the federal ESSER funding, we did invest in a number of teachers to earn their master's credentials in content areas. And we are looking to have some of them in the next year or so start to teach some MATC courses for transcripted credits right in the high school.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want us to wait till the end, or?
Yeah, why don't we just wait?
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
just write it down.
Can we go back 3 slides, I think? Right there. So we'll now talk a little bit about contract. So this is the second most popular area where we've seen the growth in FY 25. While the numbers are still low from 23, we have made, some traction back to sustain what we have and also to keep growing. We have many courses. The contract data is primarily due to our partnership with MPS. They have the most contracted sections in their schools, and we'll show you the top partners on the next page. This is where MATC instructors go out to the high school to teach. The numbers represent the number of students that are in these sections. And while there are a lot of sections, we still are working with our MPS partners to make sure that students are in the classes. Most of the classes that we're offering on the contracted side are in the trades, your welding, your HVAC, your nursing. And so students who have determined that that is something that they would like to do for their post-secondary or their career, obviously are engaged in the classes. The high school principals are looking to make sure that more and more students have the chance to be inside those classes. Obama High School has really hit the ground running. The principal there is very, very working towards making sure that those HVAC, the welding classes are filled. He started that work several years ago with myself and the late Chris Chomecki to make sure that we had this partnership there at Obama. So really, really focused on that. He'd like to bring on more as the years to come. Hamilton High School continues to stay strong with their nursing department. So Hamilton, JMAC, and South Division have always had 2 sections of CNA nursing, and they'd like to do more in the future. And you could see some of the other partners that we have there. The other program that we'll focus on today, the last program that we'll focus on today is our Start College Now. This is students who apply to their high school and they are funded for 1 or more courses as the school determines what they will pay for. Students come on campus, they're physically present at one of the 5 locations, including Walker Square, to take those classes. School funds to pay for this and transportation continue to challenge our partners. And so this number has not really grown. We have sustained the partners that we've had. We have added new partners to replace. And, John and I have talked about these numbers also in relation to MPS. And we also know that there's a declining high school population. There's just not that as many students in high school as there were a couple of years ago. And we are going to go a little bit into that recession, the recession from 2009 to 2011. So keeping active, keeping the teams out there, making sure that we keep and sustain or grow our numbers is going to be key in the next future. Our next slide specifically is on our work with MPS. You could see here the number of credits that have increased in different schools and their level of engagement. This is just a top 11. There's more, but I thought that I'd point out, some of the growth from 2003 to 4 to 5, where we currently are with our partnership with MPS. And those are credits across all of our programs, including our M cubed. I should mention that our M cubed is also represented in contracts. It's a contract that we have with MPS, and so you'll see those numbers represented in the contract data. The next slide on schools served, I just thought I'd share a little bit about the number of partners that we are working with. Our strategic plan pretty much wanted to sustain what we had, but also bring in new partners. new partners who might have additional funding or funding for themselves or would like opportunities. Our biggest growth has been with the private schools, just going after schools that might not have engaged with us before to engage with us now. Our homeschool population is also growing. We are looking specifically to tap into homeschool organizations, school districts that work with homeschooled, and what we call self-pay. So students outside of the district or students that the district will not pay for can and should pay for their own courses and take advantage of dual enrollment while they're still in high school. We've sustained our MPS partnership, same schools still involved, but more students and more credits coming from the schools that we have. We added one charter school and we added one large public school. That's in last year. This year we have around 82 partners this fall, so we'll look to see. We have added Salama High School this fall, so we'll be looking to add a couple more for the next spring. Our FTE calculations, so every credit that is not transcripted credit, we divide by 30 to see our contribution to FTE. So some increase over the last years. President Cruz is, supportive of growing the program, make sure that we have more FTEs coming in. We're doing well on the OBF side, but we really would like to contribute more FTEs in the long run. That would mean a contract, a more dual enrollment academy, or more Start College Now students. The last two things I'll share is, where our students are trending. We do award credentials. Any student that finishes the certificate or their technical diploma. CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, continues to be our most popular, followed by real estate. And our early childhood education, preschool, is coming up. More and more students we see. That is an enrollment, a dual enrollment academy. So that would mean that the student is here all of their senior year. And that's a little challenging to be done with your high school in 3 years and be able to come here for the 4th year. So, but it's becoming more and more popular. And then the last slide before we get into future plans, I just thought I'd share a little bit about what's the most popular courses. Many of them are transcripted credit. The business department, our lead pathway, has many of the classes that are attainable through certification. So a lot of high school business math teachers have the credentials to teach. And so a lot of these courses are taught at the high school through transcripted credit. The exception would be algebra, college algebra, and trigonometry. We actually have our instructors that are going out to teach that. It's a popular course because many high schools struggle to find teachers in the upper level math to be able to teach it. And so they outsource it to us. And then finally, in terms of future plans, we already have for spring, North Division. One more slide, please. There you go. We already have North Division High School that will be adding a CNA section for next spring. Hamilton High School will bring on an additional section of certified nursing next year, bringing them to 3 total. Bradley Tech will be adding a new building automated services lab. Not sure if you knew that, but that's gonna do it.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Homestead High School. This is the North Division, the north end of our schools, Homestead High School, Nicolay, Whitefish Bay, Shorewood, Port Washington, Homestead, Mequon-Thielen. They have formed a coalition with CISA 1 that myself and another one of our specialists sit with. One of the things that Nicolay High School has brought to everyone's attention is that there is a need for technical programs in the North Shore area. And so Nicolay, came on campus, did a tour here, we did a tour there, but it's Homestead High School who is looking to, host manufacturing courses, and this would be at our Mequon campus. There's a bunch of courses that they can take, so I think right now they're just looking at which one. And I just had a meeting with the superintendent of West Alice last week. He is looking to bring on cosmetology or nail technician. Again, our dean also was there, and she is working with me. We're gonna probably put through a little proposal together to Dr. King, because with the number of students for cosmetology that we have, not only at Obama High School, but now with the West Alice district, probably need another faculty member to take on those courses. So some positive growth there, and of course, continued partnership with Dr. Hill and his team, both for Start College Now and for our M-Cubed options.
Any questions?
First.
Me first? Take your time. Good. So he and I used to work together. Just full disclosure.
Full disclosure, that's right.
Full disclosure might take a while.
Wow. Okay. I was looking for Bradley Tech. I mean, I saw them at the end in a list of schools, but not as, one of the ones with a lot of transcripted credit or, and we, I think, do you still sit on the Bradley Tech Commission?
I just got voted in as chair.
Oh, and you're the Bradley Tech Commission?
Just
Right, but we have a long-term relationship. We've always had instructors certified in both systems. It's just such a natural for us, for college. So that was one, I got about 8 questions, but so first it was that and Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way, when we brought it into MPS a million years ago, I remember all of those classes we got dual certification for, and I know that's at Bradley Tech, and I think it's still several other high schools. And so one of you guys tell me where we are with those 2 things.
Well, Bradley Tech, for last year, they did have 327 credits. And that's a little down from the year before at 343, and the year before that 359. We have contracted with them. They just didn't make it to the top 10 there, but they are represented in, if we went to the top 20, they would be in there. They're just not as high as some of the other MPS schools to make it to the bar chart. That's all.
Okay. I think they should be. So I'd like to see us. It would be a natural that every kid who goes to Bradley Tech is getting some kind of credits here. And so I know, like, again, I can kind of say back in the day, but we used to do OSHA 10, I think even OSHA 30 certification for manufacturing and construction. And that was transcripted, and a certification that kids could get in high school that gave them a leg up here. I think we did CompTIA also, and maybe the Microsoft certification. I can't remember what that one's called, but we did both of those. I know we did them at several high schools, but right now I was just kind of focusing on Bradley Tech's numbers being pretty low considering I think it's an opportunity area for us.
Any additional questions? Dr. Pence?
As a graduate of Milwaukee Tech, Bradley Tech, that went through the machine tool trades, and then a graduate of MATC that went through the industrial engineering program a few years ago. Thank you for collaborating on this and coming and showing these. You've answered a lot of my questions. I'm going to agree with Director Baker on keeping the door open with I call it Milwaukee Tech because that's what it was. Just want to back a few years ago. Back then there was an exploratory model. As you came into 9th grade, there was an exploratory model where you went through all the shop classes that were available back then it was aero auto body carpentry, machine tool. And it really prepared me to pick my major in high school. And then continue on and in between my junior and senior in high school, I was working in a tool and die shop, making money. And then I continued to do that. And now now as an employer in the trades, I appreciate where I came from with both of you sitting here, and thank you for mentioning that. I have one more comment on the math part of it is problem solving. Math is problem solving. If you find a person who can problem solve, has good, I always ask, what are your math skills? I probably shouldn't do that in HR, but math and the ability to hold a wrench in your hand is somebody that should be going into the trades. Maybe there's some kind of model that could be tested for or something like that. But again, that's just some opinions.
So you'll be happy to know that that class still exists. So we provide, one of our instructors is, so they have a survey course, they call it, and every quarter the freshmen are put through different trades.
Okay.
We are 1/4 of that, and we have an instructor that teaches all 4 quarters, gets 25 freshmen each. That course is non-credit. So we are exposing 100 students to CNC, machine tool, die. But then the students in the sophomore year get to pick which trade they go to.
Okay.
And our trade is CNC, so those credits are coming from that CNC. We have a sophomore class and we have a junior class, and that's where the next step would require machinery that Bradley Tech doesn't have. So we're working to get those seniors as Bradley Tech is here and Walker Square is here. As the other role I have is being executive director of Walker. So I'm trying to get those Bradley Tech students here or one of our instructors. It's only 2 blocks. So I think we can somehow work that out. So you'll be happy to know the trade class is still going on. We need to get more and more students into CNC. They're kind of choosing some of the other trades.
You gotta go over there and talk to them.
I think so. I'd be happy to. I would be happy to.
Anything? Director Foley?
Let's talk about transcripted credit for a moment. That seems to be very popular with the high schools, and I suppose it's because they're not really paying for it.
Correct.
And we're not getting any credit in terms of state funding or anything else to the extent that we have involvement there.
Well, it goes into our OBF. So that it does contribute to one of our presidential goals. And there is a funding model for that, but it's not the FTE model.
Can we just clarify something?
Yeah.
Transcripted credit is taught by the high school teacher, so
Right.
that's the reason the high school teacher gets certified. That's why we don't get anything out of it. 'Cause we're not teaching
Right.
it.
But the question becomes, are we getting those students anyway at a higher level? Or are they skipping us entirely?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, about that. So I
Yeah.
would say, for Milwaukee Public Schools, MATC and UWM, approximately half of the students that enroll in college following graduation go to either MATC or UWM. And MATC has a slight edge over UWM. So you are getting a significant portion of our college-bound graduates enrolling into your institution. Cost is a factor, but it's also a time factor, because when students have to leave school, they're not just missing a class period. We have to factor in travel time. So they really have to be on track for graduation. And it takes, depending where they're traveling to and how they're getting there, it will take a significant portion of their schedule to leave the school, come to a college campus, and then go back. So for a lot of kids, it's a nice way for them to get dual enrollment exposure while still right there at the high school. So The other thing I would say that presents a challenge, you have heard about our declining enrollment. Over the last 10 years, we've lost about 10,000 students. So there are fewer students, and there's quite frankly more competition for the students we have. So we have advanced placement coursework, we have IB coursework, we have our dual enrollment coursework, and then we have students that are pursuing internships and youth apprenticeships. So in a way, we're competing against each other for some of the same students. So we have overall grown our dual enrollment numbers for students. So in 23-24, we had approximately 1,500 students engage in dual enrollment. And in 24-25, we added about 500. So we were over 2,000 students. So we've been working at increasing dual enrollment because we see the value of it. But like I said, there are some challenges because the numbers are shrinking. So,
But for transcripted credit on that, what we call the north area, students are getting credit and then going on to other 4 years. And that's why that coalition has come together to say, not everybody wants that 4 year anymore. They're looking for a technical. Now, Mequon campus is the closest to that. The further south you go, it's getting closer to 50% because you have Franklin, you have South Milwaukee, and you have Oak Creek, and they're all very near to the Oak Creek campus. So you'll see many of our students go there, and of course the central area with West Dallas and downtown.
Is the 50% of what
50% of transcripted credit students.
end up at MATC
Somewhere,
in the
yeah.
south?
Yeah. Most of the credits that they're earning is in the business pathway, so you see them highly represented there and then in the nursing. It is also possible that many of the students, and this is the number that I do want to run, is how many of them actually finish and graduate within 1 or 2 years. The students from Tenor High School, we have about 127, 132 for next fall. They can legitimately finish a technical diploma or a certificate because they're here their entire senior year, all day, every day. Very big partnership. In fact, they're building out another wing. And so in about another 3 to 4 years, we'll have close to 300 of their seniors. So we've met with Dr. King and admissions advising. We're gonna need we're gonna need more programs as that really takes off.
Thank you.
Just want to say something, the legislation that's been proposed about getting that dual enrollment or dual credit committee together, or whatever that's called, I don't know, whatever that structure is at the state level, is really important to really look at this, because all these transcripted credits in other states count as FTE. So just because they're not paying for it, or anybody's, depending on who's paying for it, I mean, yeah, the teachers are being paid by the schools, but nonetheless, the students are getting the credit, right? And then the colleges do get FTE credit. So that might be something that should be looked at as to, and maybe it's not, maybe they'll go 100%, but whatever percentage of that should be counted towards FTE, because the students are getting college credit, right? And it's going on their transcript. And so regardless of the funding source or who's paying for it, that could happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked to see the way the state does it, because
It's always been that way.
given the number for which transcripted credit will continue to be probably the most popular option, because it's the easiest for students, especially from that transportation issue. That is something that really needs to be looked at for institutions to get the credit they deserve for that. And in addition to that, I think it'll just make it even more popular.
Yes, yeah, I mean, one of the benefits of transcripted credit is it's on the student's transcript, so you can actually go different places with it.
Sure.
I mean, if it's a course that's only available here or in one of the tech colleges, but if it's a math class, you know, you could go, so it'd be interesting to see who gets that FTE and.
But isn't it transcripted? It's also on our transcripts, right?
All high schools will put all of these credits on their transcript, and, you know, it's at the bottom, whether it's transcripted or, and then, yes, the students do get an MATC transcript also.
Oh, they do.
They
Yeah, that starts building their.
Yeah, so they get both
Cool.
credit on both ends.
Yeah.
So didn't, nobody asked, nobody answered the Project Lead the Way thing, though. I think that got lost. So. are
I'm
we still
aware,
doing-
yeah, I'm aware of Project Lead the Way, but I don't,
Yeah, I'll have to look into maybe the instructors if they qualify. So that's the other challenge. Sometimes is making sure the instructors meet the credential requirements for transcripted credits, which is why we spent the money when we had the ESSER funds to get teachers to take courses for their masters in content areas.
Absolutely. So, and so just back in the day, when we brought Project Lead the Way in, we actually sat with the instructors here. We matched it credit for credit. And we went through that with the instructors, with the teachers, qualifications, personnel changes and all that. But there should be some roadmaps. Because you've got a lot of Project Lead the Way students, and that's a pretty big opportunity. And then if I could, I would like us to look into, because we did used to MATC used to do Ocean 10 and a number of schools. And, you know, it's another certificate. We taught it. It gives kids a reason to follow up and learn more. We used to do EMT out at JMAC. And then we had there's ProStart and ServSafe.
Essentially, from ProStar.
Right, with
I
the
believe that's-
culinary programs, we had that going, I think, at Washington High
Thursday.
School.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday gets done here as part of their culinary.
Right,
We do have ServSafe at Bayview.
at Bayview. Okay, and do those students, do we do that with MATC?
I would have to double check if it's with MATC.
I mean, because that then leads into our culinary, and then were several, like the CompTIA one I remember, and there was a Microsoft Fundamentals or something like that, which were both certificates that then lead into all of our IT stuff. So I would just like us to explore how much, you know, CNA is a fabulous thing. I think some of us look at it and we think, oh, that's kind of low skilled, but you need to have that CNA to get into a nursing program. So it's a great credential if you can get it in high school. And that's fabulous that a lot of students want to do that. It's great. But I would like us to be exploring some of these other areas.
Are there any additional questions?
And say hi to Eric and Chris.
I will.
Thank you. I just have one quick question. You mentioned that you work with 10 private schools now. Which are some of those private schools?
1 second, please. Some of our private schools, we have Achieve Academy, Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Martin Luther High, Mesmer High School. St. Pius High School, I think it's just Pius, I'm sorry, the Pius High School. St. Augustine, St. Francis, St. Thomas More, St. Anthony, and Wisconsin Lutheran High School.
One of the states.
And Tenor.
Well, Tenor's charter, so I classified it a little different,
It's in Genesee.
but those are privates.
Oh, I think.
There.
That's that.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's that.
thank you.
Is there new business? No?
Well, I'll just put a bookmark back on this stuff about the legislative reports and, you know, something for the board to either attend or something.
More info.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect.
Thanks.
And then we have some future events announcements. So December 11th is the GED graduation at 6 p.m. at the downtown campus here at the Cooley Auditorium, if you can attend. And then we have our winter commencement again on December 13th at 11 a.m. at the Pfizer Forum. And next, we will be seeing everyone again on January 27th for the board meeting in this room at 4 p.m. And that will be all. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Anyone opposed? And
You
with
can
that,
stay here until the next meeting. Bring your food.
and with that, we adjourn, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and a New Year.
Nicely done now.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I could have